Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a truly singular collection of source material. We've got what appears to be the history, the inhabitants, even some of the foundational rules for a place known as Diaper School, formerly the Scholia Diasporas.
That's right. Our sources here paint a remarkably detailed, if, well, quite unusual picture of this setting. We're looking at a blend of what seem to be historical chronicles, rich descriptions of diverse sentient species and their various subgroups, and even the framework for how you might, create a character within this world.
Exactly. So our mission on this deep dive is to extract the most compelling nuggets from this Diaper School universe. We want to understand its history, get to know its incredibly varied residents, and really dig into the elements that make it so distinctive.
And the name itself, Diaper School, immediately sparks curiosity, doesn't it?
It really does.
It's an undeniably intriguing hook. A key part of our dive today will be understanding why this term is so prevalent and what it signifies within the context of the Scholia Diasporas.
Okay, let's journey back to the beginning then. Our sources tell us that the academy, the Scholia Diasporas, was established roughly a millennium ago by a rather mysterious figure called Headmaster Horace Hoots. What was the initial thinking behind this place?
What's fascinating here is the Academy's original ambition. It wasn't conceived as like a typical school bound by the confines of a single world,
Right.
but rather as a sanctuary for learning that stretched across different planes of existence. Think of them as distinct dimensions or realities, a truly grand and perhaps even necessary vision for the time.
And it seems Headmaster Hoots wasted no time getting things going. His practical adventuring class, according to our sources, became incredibly popular right away. You almost get the sense of it being legendary, maybe a waiting list stretching across these very planes you mentioned.
Yeah, why do you think that particular class resonated so strongly?
Well, that early popularity really speaks to a need, doesn't it? Perhaps the ability to navigate these different planes wasn't commonplace back then.
Right, making practical skills for such travel and interaction highly valued. It suggests a world, or rather a multiverse, with inherent dangers and opportunities that this class addressed directly.
Now, here's where the narrative takes a turn. About a century and a half after the founding, Headmaster Hoots begins to, well, fade away, is how it's put.
Get away.
His physical presence becomes increasingly rare, described as an ontological dysfunction. It's a curious term, almost like a fundamental problem with his very being.
Huh.
Yet, incredibly, his classes apparently continued, with some students recalling these hazy, almost dreamlike memories of Professor Hoops.
So, what are some possible interpretations of this? That raises some really intriguing possibilities about the nature of Headmaster Hoots and perhaps the very fabric of the academy itself.
Could his teaching have become decoupled from his physical form?
Maybe. Or was it some kind of advanced magical projection? Or perhaps the academy itself retained a trace of his knowledge. The dismissal of these memories as mere dreams or magical illusions suggests a growing unease, or perhaps even a deliberate attempt to obscure what was happening.
Fast forward a few decades, and a young sorceress named Tabitha Celestis enters the scene. An orphan with a difficult past, she enrolls at the young age of 12 and quickly establishes herself as a remarkably talented student,
Okay.
especially drawn to temporal magic dealing with time and the nature of souls.
Why do you think those specific areas of study might have become so important to her? Tabitha's early focus on time and souls certainly hints at a deep intellectual curiosity, perhaps stemming from her own experiences as an orphan.
Right, an interest in temporal magic could reflect a desire to understand or even alter the past.
And a fascination with souls might point to questions about mortality and the essence of being, themes that often drive powerful motivations.
Indeed. About 70 years after enrolling, Tabitha unveils something called the Well of the Blessed Engine. Initially, she presents it as a benevolent invention, a way to safeguard souls, offering them sanctuary or even rebirth, a seemingly noble and altruistic endeavor.
But what was the reality? Sadly, the truth was far more insidious. The Well of Souls, as it secretly became, was actually a mechanism for amassing vast quantities of spiritual energy souls over nearly a century.
Wow.
This complete perversion of its stated purpose is quite chilling and speaks to a long-term deception.
Absolutely. And then, roughly 2 years after this unveiling, Tabitha reveals her true, horrifying intention. Using the immense power accumulated within she creates the first wave of her Warforged host.
Warforged host.
Essentially automatons brought to life by trapped spirits, completely bound to her will. Her ambition takes a dramatic and terrifying turn, shifting from this idea of salvation to outright conquest.
What does this shift tell us about the potential dangers of unchecked ambition, even when starting with seemingly good intentions? If we connect this to the bigger picture, Tabitha's actions serve as a stark warning about the corrupting influence of power.
Yeah.
Perhaps her initial desire to save souls became twisted into a desire to control them, seeing them as a resource to fuel her own aspirations. It highlights how even noble aims can be warped when coupled with unchecked ambition and a disregard for individual autonomy.
And within just a couple more years, wielding her war-forged host, Tabitha effectively seizes control of the academy from the Council of Professorial Oversight, the governing body in Headmaster Hoots' absence.
She just took over.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
She consolidates her power to such an extent that she can simply remove anyone who poses a threat. The academy's very purpose is twisted, with failures, presumably those who didn't align with her or her goals, now being harvested to fuel her war machine.
That is a profound betrayal of the Academy's initial ideals, isn't it?
Completely.
It absolutely is. The institution that was founded on the principle of nurturing potential and fostering learning becomes a tool for its very antithesis, the systematic exploitation of individuals for military gain.
Wow.
The term failures being converted into war material underscores the dehumanizing nature of Tabitha's regime and the complete inversion of the Academy's original mission.
This dark chapter leads us directly into what's known as the Old War period, or the Schism of Scolia. It erupts with the first internal siege of Scolia proper.
Okay, what happened?
Tabitha manages to temporarily bypass the Academy's anti-lethality ward's magical barriers that typically prevent permanent harm and launches a direct assault on the main campus, aiming to seize the souls of the largest enrolled class in the Academy's history.
What does that initial act of aggression signify? The breaching of these anti-lethality wars represents a fundamental violation of the Academy's most basic magical protections and the trust it was built upon.
Shocking.
This act of extreme violence within the supposed sanctuary of the school itself underscores the ruthlessness of Tabitha's methods and the profound vulnerability of even the most fortified havens when faced with such determined aggression.
Tragically, among the numerous casualties of this brutal siege is a student named Plea, along with many of her peers. However, the assault is eventually halted by the desperate resistance of surviving students and faculty.
Okay, so they pushed back.
They did. Following this devastating event, Tabitha vanishes from public view as the blame for the carnage falls squarely upon her.
Why do you think she withdrew at this point? Tabitha's disappearance after such a brutal attack suggests a calculated move, perhaps to evade immediate retaliation and consolidate her remaining forces.
Makes sense.
It could also indicate a shift in strategy, realizing that outright control of the Academy through brute force might be more challenging than initially anticipated. The blame being universally placed on her likely made a public presence untenable.
And the conflict doesn't remain confined to the Academy grounds. The nearby settlements of Magiana and Lesseradiana are completely obliterated by magical fire, a terrifying display of power.
Just wiped out.
Yeah. This act draws the attention of the ancient and powerful dragons of Monoclath, who appear in war formation for the first time in centuries, delivering an ultimatum. The Academy must surrender to Tabitha.
Whoa, the dragons get involved. What's the significance of that?
Huge significance. The intervention of the dragons of Monoclath signifies that Tabitha's actions have had far-reaching consequences, destabilizing the wider planar ecosystem and attracting the attention of ancient powers who typically remain aloof from such conflicts.
And their ultimatum suggests that they viewed Tabitha as a threat to the established order, right? Even demanding allegiance to her to prevent further chaos.
Exactly. What follows are described as legendary battles. The first battle of the Gate sees Tabitha's forces, surprisingly led by Monoclath, the Dragon Lord himself, and Selene, the Sister Witch.
Wait, Sister Witch?
Yet who, our sources reveal, is Tabitha's own sister, now a powerful magic user, allied with her, launching a direct assault on the Academy's main entrance.
Her own sister. Wow.
They are met by Scolian forces bravely led by Galander Forsyth and Yulva of the Circle of the Academy, a name we'll hear more of later. The fact that Tabitha's own sister is fighting against the Academy is a particularly poignant detail, isn't it?
It is. Silene's allegiance to Tabitha adds a significant layer of personal tragedy and complexity to the conflict. It raises questions about family loyalty versus ideological conviction, and highlights the deep divisions that Tabitha's actions have created, even within her own family.
After weeks of intense siege, the battle at the doors takes place, and once again Monoclath and Selene are repelled. Legends from this battle speak of an avatar of the headmaster.
Like Hoots came back?
Perhaps a final surge of horror as Hoots' power manifesting, and another unnamed hero who is said to have wielded the Academy's massive doors as both weapon and shield. These legendary figures provide a sense of hope amidst this dark time, don't they?
They do. These figures embody the spirit of resistance and the enduring legacy of the Academy's founders. The idea of the headmaster's lingering influence suggests that the very essence of the institution might be pushing back against Tabitha's corruption.
And the unnamed hero
Represents the courage and sacrifice of ordinary individuals in extraordinary circumstances.
But victory comes at a terrible cost. Following the loss of Gallender Forsyth, in a devastating act of revenge, Ylva makes a pact with primal spirits and unleashes immense power, leveling the mountains Mortis.
Leveled mountains. Just like that.
This cataclysmic event, known as the Day the Mountains Tumbled, results in the near-total annihilation of the renegade remnant students and faculty who had sided with Tabitha and were located in the mountains, and also destroys their stronghold, the training fortress, or the Ebony Echelon.
Wow. This act of vengeance has huge consequences, doesn't it?
Massive.
Ylva's act, fueled by grief and rage, demonstrates the sheer destructive potential unleashed by this conflict and the willingness of those opposing Tabitha to resort to extreme measures. The annihilation of the renegade remnant marks a significant turning point in the war, severely weakening Tabitha's remaining support, but also highlighting the tragic cycle of violence and retribution.
With her forces significantly weakened, the Iron March begins, coinciding with the longest of wintertide.
What's that?
The surviving Scolian mages enact a desperate and incredibly powerful spatial and temporal distortion magic to protect the Academy and allow them time to regroup. However, the immense strain of this magical working tragically claims the lives of the entire Scholia Psionica.
The whole psionics department. Gone.
Effectively ending the formal study of psionics' mental powers at the Academy for centuries. This is a huge sacrifice, wasn't it?
This final act of the Old War underscores the immense sacrifices made to ensure the Academy's survival. The loss of the Scholia Psionica is a profound and long-lasting consequence, a stark reminder of the devastating cost of Tabitha's ambition and the desperate measures taken to counter it. It essentially reshapes the magical landscape of the Academy for generations.
We then transition into the Middle War period, also known as the Long Chill, and eventually the first new dawn of stability. The Iron March finally ends, and the Council of Professorial Oversight, though significantly diminished in number and influence, manages to reassert its governance.
They're back in charge.
One of their first and most symbolic acts is to permanently seal the Well of the Blessed Engine.
Ah, good move. What's the significance of that action?
Well, the sealing of the well is a powerful symbolic act, signifying a collective commitment to preventing any future exploitation of souls and a decisive rejection of Tabitha's methods.
Right.
The Academy enters a prolonged period of cautious rebuilding, marked by a deep-seated suspicion of unchecked ambition and a desire to learn from the devastating events of the Old War.
This caution understandably leads to a decline in enrollment. In response, the council makes a controversial decision to broaden the admissions criteria, welcoming students from more diverse and sometimes less conventional backgrounds.
Interesting. What might have been the reasoning behind that move?
This decision likely reflects a pragmatic approach to ensuring the Academy's long-term survival. By opening its doors to a wider range of individuals, they not only sought to replenish their student body, but also potentially hoped to introduce new perspectives, talents, and sources of resilience that might have been overlooked before.
Strength and diversity, maybe.
Exactly. It suggests a recognition that strength can be found in diversity.
From the ashes of the past, a beacon of knowledge arises. The great library of Scholia, a vast repository of learning protected by an enchanted barrier. During this time, we also see the infiltration and eventual purging of a nefarious group known as the Shadow Guild, and the first documented sightings of darklings, shadowy beings outside the Academy's protective wards.
So, still facing challenges then, what do these events tell us about the ongoing struggles?
The establishment of the Great Library underscores the enduring importance of knowledge and its preservation as a cornerstone of the Academy's identity and a safeguard against future darkness.
But the Shadow Guild and Dirklings.
Yeah, their emergence indicates that even in a period of relative peace, the Academy remained vulnerable to both internal corruption and external threats, suggesting that the scars of the Old War ran deep.
Makes sense.
In direct response to the widespread devastation of the war and the loss of invaluable artifacts, the Academy introduces a new curriculum, with a strong focus on the study and, crucially, the safeguarding of ancient and powerful artifacts.
Learning from the past.
And in an effort to foster interplanar diplomacy and rebuild trust after so much conflict, the planar games are established as sort of interdimensional academic competition.
Okay, like magical Olympics across dimensions. What's the significance of these initiatives?
Well, the emphasis on artifact safeguarding reflects a hard-learned lesson about the potential dangers of unchecked power and the responsibility that comes with wielding it.
And the games?
The planar games represent a proactive and innovative approach to rebuilding relationships and fostering cooperation among the various planes, using friendly competition as a means of diplomacy and understanding.
Smart.
Finally, during this period of rebuilding and reevaluation, we witness the formation of the Circle of the Academy, a clandestine protective force dedicated to safeguarding the school from threats both within and without its walls.
A secret society. This sounds like a very necessary development given the Academy's recent history, doesn't it?
Indeed, the creation of the Circle highlights a long-term commitment to vigilance and proactive security. Operating in secret, this organization acts as a silent guardian, ensuring the Academy's continued survival and working to prevent the mistakes of the past from repeating themselves.
Good to have them around, probably.
This brings us to the modern age period, which is ushered in by the Great Reawakening of magic, a significant and widespread intensification of arcane energies across the entire multiverse.
More magic everywhere.
Yeah, this surge in magical power brings both a substantial increase in enrollment at the Academy and a whole new set of challenges to navigate. How would such a magical resurgence impact an institution like Scholia Diasporos?
The Great Reawakening presents a classic double-edged sword, doesn't it? The influx of raw magical power offers immense new potential for research, innovation, and the development of new spells and techniques.
Right.
But it also brings the inherent risk of that power being mishandled, leading to instability, accidents, and potentially even new conflicts. The Academy would need to adapt quickly to harness this new energy, while also implementing safeguards against its misuse.
Amidst this magical resurgence, a significant discovery is made. The headmaster's tome is unearthed within the long-ruined training fortress.
Hoot's book.
This ancient grimoire is rumored to hold secrets about the true nature of Headmaster Hoots's ontological dysfunction, and perhaps even deeper, long-hidden truths about the Academy itself.
Wow. What kind of implications could such a discovery have? The unearthing of the headmaster's tome represents a potential key to unlocking the mysteries surrounding the Academy's origins and the enigmatic figure of Horace Hoots.
Could be huge.
It could provide valuable insights into the Academy's fundamental nature and perhaps even reveal forgotten knowledge or dangerous secrets, making its discovery both a great opportunity and a significant risk. Some knowledge might be best left undisturbed,
Building upon the diplomatic successes of the planar games, the Academy takes further steps to foster interplanar understanding by initiating the Planar Exchange Program.
Like study abroad, but across dimensions.
Exactly. This program facilitates the exchange of students and faculty between Scholia Diasporos and other institutions across the multiverse. What are the potential benefits of such an initiative?
The Planar Exchange Program demonstrates a continued commitment to the principles of diplomacy and the broadening of knowledge. By fostering direct interaction and cultural exchange between different planar societies, the Academy aims to build stronger relationships, reduce misunderstandings, and enrich the educational experience for all involved.
Sounds positive.
It recognizes that the Academy's future is intertwined with the wider multiverse.
This era also marks a significant achievement for the Academy: the mastery of planar mechanics. This newfound understanding allows for safer and more efficient interdimensional travel and significantly bolsters the defenses of their own demiplane, their pocket dimension.
How crucial would this mastery be for the Academy's long-term security and prosperity? Achieving mastery over planar mechanics would be absolutely vital.
Right.
Secure and reliable interplanar travel is essential for trade, communication, and maintaining connections with other planes. Furthermore, enhanced defenses for their demiplane provide a critical layer of security against external threats, ensuring the Academy's continued existence and autonomy in a potentially dangerous multiverse.
Okay, now this is where things take a distinctly unusual turn. We have the graduation of the Diaper Defenders.
The what now?
The Diaper Defenders, a unique and rather unconventional group of heroes who intentionally incorporated magically enhanced diapers into their heroic attire, championing ideals of humility and resilience.
Okay, this is quite a departure from typical heroic tropes, isn't it?
Just a bit.
It certainly is. The choice of diapers as a symbol of heroism is highly unconventional and immediately raises questions about the cultural significance and acceptance of this item within the Scolia diasporos. Perhaps it's a commentary on embracing vulnerability as a source of strength.
Or maybe.
Or maybe it reflects a unique aspect of their societal norms where such garments hold a different meaning entirely. Hard to say.
This is followed by the Great Schism, an internal ideological crisis centered around the potential of the long-sealed well of souls.
Ah, the well again.
Ultimately, this crisis is resolved with a renewed and strengthened focus on ethical power generation within the Academy. What does this internal conflict suggest about the Academy's ongoing evolution?
The Great Schism highlights the lingering ethical dilemmas stemming from the Academy's past and its relationship with powerful, potentially dangerous magic. The resolution, with a renewed emphasis on ethical power generation, demonstrates a commitment to learning from past mistakes and establishing clear moral guidelines for future advancements in magic and technology.
So progress, maybe.
It suggests an institution grappling with its own complex legacy, certainly.
To further expand its reach and broaden access to magical education, the Academy establishes the Outreach Campus, officially known as Scolia Magus Academy, on the prime material plane.
Prime material, so like a more normal reality compared to the Academy's home plane.
Exactly. What might be the goals behind setting up a campus in such a different environment?
Establishing an outreach campus on the prime material plane likely serves several key objectives. It provides an opportunity to disseminate magical knowledge to a wider population who might not have access to the planar academy.
And recruitment.
It also serves as a potential recruitment ground for exceptionally talented individuals and could foster greater understanding and integration between the more magically focused planes and those with less pervasive magic.
Then we encounter the incontinence incident.
Oh, boy.
A rather memorable event involving a campus-wide loss of bladder and bowel control due to a mischievous alchemy experiment gone awry.
Seriously, campus-wide.
Apparently. While undoubtedly embarrassing at the time, it reportedly led to a strange sense of shared experience and, perhaps more practically, improved emergency preparedness protocols.
This seems like a uniquely diaper school kind of crisis, doesn't it?
It does indeed. This incontinence incident, while humorous in retrospect, highlights the unpredictable nature of magical experimentation within the Academy and the rather unique challenges that might arise in a setting where certain undergarments are the norm.
The fact that it led to improved emergency preparedness suggests a resilient and pragmatic approach to even the most unusual of setbacks, I suppose.
More concerning is the revelation of a council infiltration by a hidden cabal and the emergence of a master manipulator known only as the Diapered Whisperer.
The Diapered Whisperer. That sounds like a significant threat to the Academy's leadership and stability.
Definitely.
The infiltration of the Council represents a serious breach of trust and a significant threat to the Academy's governance. The moniker, the Diapered Whisperer, is particularly unsettling, isn't it?
It really is.
It suggests that this individual might be exploiting the Academy's unique cultural elements, perhaps even the pervasive use of diapers for their own manipulative purposes. It hints at a deeper, perhaps darker undercurrent within the Academy's society.
This period also sees the Water War erupt within the School of Elementalism, a destructive magical conflict that leads to the temporary closure of that entire academic division.
A water war. This reinforces the idea of the inherent risks associated with powerful magic, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
The Water War serves as yet another stark reminder of the raw power of elemental magic and the potential for even internal disputes within specialized schools to escalate into significant and damaging events. The temporary closure of the School of Elementalism would undoubtedly have had a ripple effect throughout the entire academy.
Following this, we have the mysterious materialization of the ghostly host. Hundreds of spectral figures suddenly appearing throughout the academy grounds.
Just ghosts appearing everywhere.
Their origins initially unknown and unsettling to the student body and faculty alike. What kind of atmosphere would this create?
The sudden appearance of hundreds of spectral figures would undoubtedly create an eerie and unsettling atmosphere, potentially disrupting daily life and raising serious questions about the Academy's history, its magical defenses, and the nature of these apparitions.
Creepy.
It suggests a possible connection to past events or perhaps an unforeseen consequence of some powerful magical working.
Eventually, a mysterious threat, known as the Infantilizer, is vanquished by the Diapered Defenders.
Them again?
Who subsequently disband or disperse. This seems to solidify their legendary status, albeit in a rather specific niche of heroism.
The victory over the infantilizer further cements the diaper defenders' unique place in the Academy's history, highlighting their effectiveness in dealing with unusual threats. Their subsequent dispersal might suggest that their specific skills or the circumstances that brought them together were no longer needed.
Or maybe they just finished the job.
Or perhaps they felt their task was complete.
The Academy then reaches its millennial anniversary and celebrates with the Grand Quest, a series of challenging trials designed to test the entire student body.
1,000 years. That sounds like a fitting way to commemorate such a significant milestone.
Definitely.
The millennial anniversary provides a valuable opportunity for the Academy to reflect on its long and eventful history, to celebrate its resilience, and to reaffirm its core values through a challenging and unifying event like the Grand Quest.
The mystery of the ghostly host is finally resolved with the revelation that they are actually a lingering side effect of Headmaster Hoots's ancient protective enchantments.
Ah, so it was Hoots.
Perhaps a sort of echo or residue of his powerful magic. This provides a somewhat unexpected explanation, doesn't it?
It does. This revelation offers a poignant explanation for the spectral presence, connecting it back to the Academy's founder and suggesting that even well-intentioned protective magic can have unforeseen and lasting consequences. It adds another layer of complexity to the legacy of Headmaster Hoots.
The Academy also initiates the Psionic Resurgence Initiative, a carefully planned effort to reintroduce the study of psionic arts after centuries of dormancy following the tragic events of the Iron March.
Bringing back psionics, why the decision to revisit this field after such a devastating loss?
Good question.
The decision to cautiously reintroduce psionics likely reflects a desire to reclaim a lost branch of magical knowledge and potentially unlock new sources of power and understanding. The emphasis on carefully suggests that the Academy learned a harsh lesson from the past.
I would hope so.
And is determined to approach this powerful discipline with prudence and ethical considerations.
This period also sees the artifact contamination scare, leading to a significant overhaul of the Academy's protocols for storing and handling powerful and potentially dangerous artifacts.
Another near miss. This reinforces the ongoing responsibility that comes with safeguarding such items, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The artifact contamination scare serves as a crucial reminder of the inherent risks associated with powerful magical artifacts and the constant vigilance required to prevent accidents or their misuse.
So they tighten things up.
The subsequent overhaul of storage protocols demonstrates a commitment to learning from near disasters and ensuring the safety of the Academy and its inhabitants.
The rise of interplanar digital networks, or ARCANET, presents both new opportunities and new challenges for the Academy in terms of communication, information sharing, and security across the vast multiverse.
Magical Internet. How might a magical institution like this adapt to such technological advancements?
The integration of digital technology into a magical setting like Scoli Diasporos opens up fascinating possibilities for instant communication across vast distances and access to unprecedented amounts of information.
But also risks, right?
Oh, absolutely. It also introduces new vulnerabilities related to magical hacking, digital security, and the potential for misuse of these interconnected networks. The Academy would need to develop unique magical countermeasures and protocols to navigate this new technological landscape.
Finally, we have the echo bloom phenomenon, where flora on the Academy grounds undergo temporary transformations, displaying sounds and visuals from past events.
Plants showing history. That adds another layer of temporal strangeness to the Academy, doesn't it?
It really does.
The echo bloom phenomenon further emphasizes the Academy's deep and often mysterious connection to its own rich history. It's as if the very environment retains echoes of the past, offering fleeting glimpses into significant events and adding to the unique atmosphere of Scholia Diasporos.
Our sources conclude by describing the contemporary state of Scholia Diasporos as a dynamic institution constantly navigating the complexities of the multiverse, still grappling with the legacies of its past, and striving to balance immense power with profound responsibility. All while the air is subtly permeated by the lingering aromas of chalk dust, old parchment, ozone from arcane energies, and perhaps unsurprisingly sometimes, baby powder.
Baby powder. That last detail really brings the whole Diaper School concept full circle, doesn't it?
It does indeed. That final sensory detail perfectly encapsulates the unique and often paradoxical blend of the academic, the arcane, and the utterly bizarre that defines the enduring character of the Scholia Diasporos.
Oh, okay, wow. That's quite a history.
Now let's turn our attention to the incredible variety of beings who call this Academy home. Our sources provide extensive details on a multitude of species, each with their own fascinating and often peculiar traits. We have, for example, the kitten folk,
Kinfolk?
described as remarkably nimble and charming individuals with several distinct subraces. We learned about the tawny folk, known for their trade expertise, the mystically inclined umbral tribe who utilize something called catnip tincture.
Catnip tincture, seriously?
Yep. The exceptionally resilient purican, and even the significantly larger megafaunal kittenkin. The level of detail here is quite striking, isn't it?
It truly is. The sheer number of species and the detailed descriptions of their subraces indicate a rich and deeply imagined world. These subraces aren't just cosmetic variations, they offer distinct cultural traits, abilities, and even in the case of the umbral tribe's catnip tincture, unique physiological effects.
Right.
It really paints a picture of a vibrant and diverse student body.
Then we have the pupperlings, characterized as energetic and fiercely loyal canine humanoids.
Okay, dog people.
Their subraces include the ever-watchful watchkin, the skilled tracking hunkin, the endearingly sturdy korgite,
Core guides, love it.
the more primal and notably medium-sized wolf breed, and the surprisingly magically adept magipups. What does this range of subraces suggest about the pupperling society within the academy?
The diversity within the pupperling species suggests a society with varied roles and aptitudes. From the guardianship of the watchkin to the tracking skills of the huntkin and the magical potential of the magipups, it indicates a well-integrated species with different strengths contributing to the academy's ecosystem.
And the wolf breed size difference.
Yeah, the size difference in the wolf breed is also an interesting biological variation.
And then there are the skun kiddos,
Skun kiddo.
described as inherently mischievous and notably naturally incontinent beings famous for their potent stink spray.
Naturally incontinent. Okay.
Their subraces include the fragrance furs, who possess the ability to emit a perfume poof, and the Melodorans, who boast an enhanced and fear-inducing version of the stink spray.
Perfume or fear gas, got it.
Interestingly, all skun kiddos are eligible for the diaper mastery feat right from the start. This seems to directly tie into the diaper school theme, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The skun kiddo are a prime example of how the seemingly unusual element of diapers is deeply woven into the very fabric of this world, even influencing racial abilities and character creation.
Right.
Their natural incontinence and the availability of the diaper mastery feat underscore the prevalence and acceptance of diapers within their culture and potentially within the academy as a whole. The contrast between the fragrance and Malodor subraces also adds a humorous and intriguing dimension.
We also encountered the bunbunkin, known as industrious burrowers with several subraces. The remarkably swift fleet feets, the surprisingly strong big paws.
Big paws.
Yeah, who gain medium-sized benefits despite generally being a small race.
Interesting.
And the magically insightful sparkly ears. What does their emphasis on burrowing suggest about their societal structure, or perhaps their history?
The bunbunkin's burrowing nature likely reflects an adaptation to their environment, perhaps providing shelter, security, or access to resources. The variations in their subraces, from speed to strength and magical aptitude, suggest a well-rounded society where different skills are valued.
And the big paws thing.
The big paw's size benefits are an interesting biological quirk, perhaps related to specific environmental pressures in their burrows.
The ghosts are a unique case, retaining spectral forms that carry echoes of their past living race.
So actual ghosts are students.
Seems like it. They possess intriguing traits like formless passage and the mournful wail of the lost. Their subraces essentially blend with their original living race, creating a wide array of spectral variations.
Wow. What does the existence of ghosts as a student population imply about the Academy's acceptance of different forms of life, even those beyond the mortal coil?
That's a great question.
The presence of ghosts as students suggests a remarkably inclusive and perhaps even understanding or accepting culture within the Academy regarding the nature of life and death. It implies that the pursuit of knowledge transcends physical form, and that even beings who have passed on still have a place within the academic community.
Their traits reflect their nature, too.
Yeah, their unique traits reflect their spectral nature, offering both advantages and inherent sadness.
Then we have the Morphean changeling, beings with unparalleled shape-shifting abilities, capable of fully transforming into another race after a 12-hour biological process and gaining all the racial traits of their chosen form.
Wait, fully transform, not just appearance. That's a significantly more powerful shape-shifting ability than typically seen, isn't it?
It certainly is.
The Morphean changeling's ability to truly become another race, not just mimic their appearance, offers incredible versatility and potential. The 12-hour transformation period likely serves as a balancing factor, preventing instantaneous and constant shifting, but the sheer scope of their transformative abilities makes them a truly unique and adaptable species.
The cow buddies are described as hardy individuals with distinct bovine features.
Cow buddies. Okay.
Notably, they are naturally unpotty trained and, like the skunk kiddo, qualify for the diaper mastery feat. They also have rapid digestion, which necessitates frequent potty checks.
Okay, another incontinent species. The recurring theme of natural incontinence is quite prominent here as well, isn't it?
Very much so.
Yes. The cow buddies further emphasize the significant role that diapers and incontinence play within the Scolia diasporos. Their natural, unpotty-trained state and eligibility for diaper mastery solidify this as a cultural or even biological norm for some species.
And their subraces.
Right. The subraces include the artistically inclined dairy friends who can produce magical milk, and the more formidable bull buddies. The magical milk produced by the dairy friends adds a whimsical and potentially valuable aspect to their culture, while the bull buddies offer a more physically robust option.
We then encounter the darklings, shadowy beings possessing traits like enhanced scent, a tendril lash, the ability for umbral jaunt.
Shadow teleporting.
Short-range teleportation through shadows, and shadow regeneration, but they also exhibit a vulnerability to radiant light-based damage.
Ah, the classic shadow weakness.
Their sub-races include the skeletal Asuites with their bone toss and surprising divine insight, and the more fluid and transmorphic Darkkin with enhanced shape-shifting abilities.
What role might a species with these characteristics play within the Academy? The Darklings likely inhabit the more shadowy corners of the Academy, their abilities lending themselves to stealth, infiltration, or perhaps even certain forms of arcane study.
Their weakness is a factor, too.
Yeah, their vulnerability to radiant damage suggests a natural aversion to brightly lit areas and potentially a different perspective on the world. The contrasting subraces, one skeletal and the other more mutable, offer intriguing variations within their shadowy nature.
We also have the Tanukijin, described as mischievous tricksters, with subraces focusing on different areas of expertise. The magically inclined mystic, the adventurous wandering, and those particularly drawn to shiny objects, the gleaming.
Ah, Tanuki. This fits a classic folklore archetype, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
The Tanukijin embodies the classic trickster archetype, and their subraces cater to various interpretations of this role, from magical pranks to adventurous exploration and a magpie-like fascination with valuable trinkets. They likely add a certain level of unpredictable charm and perhaps occasional chaos to the Academy environment.
The foxfolk are depicted as lithe and cunning individuals, with subraces specializing in mystic combat, Amberclaw, arcane magic, arcane, or subtle trickery, Moonshadow.
Similar to the Tanukijin, they seem to embody a specific set of characteristics. Yes, the foxfolk also align with familiar archetypes of agility and cleverness.
Right.
Their subraces further refine these traits, offering distinct pathways for those interested in martial prowess, spellcasting, or more subtle forms of manipulation and deception. They likely value wit and adaptability.
A truly unique species is the Gemini Celestian, twin souls inhabiting dual bodies.
Twin souls, dual bodies. How does that work?
They possess unique game mechanics for their initial levels, including shared form, a shared pool of hit points, an enhanced action economy, and natural dual-wielding abilities, before eventually transitioning to a standard class with some adjustments.
Wow, this sounds like a fascinating and mechanically distinct racial option. The Gemini Celestian present a truly innovative concept, both narratively and mechanically.
Yeah, the idea of two souls sharing a fate.
And a physical form offers rich possibilities for role-playing, and introduces unique gameplay dynamics through their shared resources and enhanced capabilities. Their eventual integration into standard classes suggests a process of individual development within the dual nature.
Next up are the possum folk, characterized as adaptable survivors with a prehensile tail and the remarkable ability to feign death.
Playing possum, classic.
Their subraces include the more urban cosmopolitans, the feral wilders, and the resourceful scavengists, who possess a useful jury rig ability. Their traits clearly emphasize resilience and resourcefulness, don't they?
Absolutely. The possum folks' traits highlight their ability to thrive in various environments and overcome adversity. Their prehensile tail and feigned death ability are classic survival mechanisms.
Yeah, that's subraces.
Their subraces further define their adaptability to different ecological niches and societal roles, from navigating urban environments to surviving in the wild and making the most of salvaged materials.
Finally, we have the living dolls, described as constructs imbued with a spark of life, possessing traits like constructed nature and living construct.
Living dolls, like puppets come to life.
Something like that. Their sub-races include the unsettling big baby dolls,
Unsettling, you say?
the protective guardian dolls, and the magically potent porcelain dolls, who are noted for their fragile beauty. This species offers a unique perspective on life and sentience within the Academy.
The living dolls bring an intriguing artificial element to the Academy's population, blurring the lines between the manufactured and the living. Their subraces highlight different aspects of their creation and purpose, ranging from unsettling aesthetics to protective functions and inherent magical capabilities.
And fragile beauty.
Suggests a delicate balance between power and vulnerability.
Okay. Across all of this detailed history and this incredible array of diverse species, there's one element that keeps recurring, an undeniable thread woven throughout the fabric of the Scolia diasporos: the pervasive presence of diapers and the seemingly significant role of incontinence.
Yeah, it's impossible to ignore.
Right. The very title, Diaper School, makes it impossible to overlook. Our sources explicitly state rules like diapers only and no panties allowed.
Explicit rules. Wow.
We even have a specific gameplay mechanic tied to them: speed make to 5 in diapers. This isn't just a casual mention, it's integrated into the very rules of this setting.
And it's not merely a matter of attire. The diaper mastery feat, which likely grants special benefits or abilities, is specifically available to skunk kiddo and cow buddies due to their inherent natural incontinence.
This suggests a deeper connection than just a social norm, doesn't it?
It really does. The historical incontinence incident, a campus-wide event, stands out as a rather significant moment, highlighting the, shall we say, unique challenges associated with bodily control within the academy and its potential impact on the entire student body.
It's treated as a notable event in their history.
Exactly.
We also have the intriguing mention of the diapered whisperer, a master manipulator who might be leveraging the prevalence of diapers for psychological influence.
Using diapers for manipulation?
Okay. And the existence of the diaper defenders, heroes who openly incorporated magically enhanced diapers into their heroic gear. These examples suggest a complex and perhaps even symbolic relationship with this item.
The diaper defenders, in particular, present a striking subversion of traditional heroic imagery. Their deliberate inclusion of diapers into their heroic attire suggests a cultural acceptance or even embrace of this garment.
Or something else.
Perhaps as a symbol of humility, resilience, or some other unique value within their society. It's hard to know for sure.
And let's not forget the almost whimsical detail of the unexplained aroma of baby powder that occasionally drifts through the venerable halls of the academy.
Right, the baby powder smell. It's a bizarre sensory detail that further underscores the unusual nature of this setting.
This pervasive diaper theme is undeniably a central and very distinctive element of the Scolia diasporos. It begs the fundamental question: what are the underlying reasons for this?
Is it a societal necessity? A deeply ingrained cultural tradition? Perhaps even a source of some kind of inherent magical property? It's a question that the source material seems to deliberately leave open for interpretation.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Scolia diasporos, or Diaper School, it's clear that we've only scratched the surface of a truly immense and intricate world.
Absolutely.
It's a plane brimming with a rich and often tumultuous history, populated by a remarkably diverse and often peculiar cast of inhabitants.
What's particularly compelling is how this detailed tapestry is woven together, where epic wars and magical anomalies coexist with the surprisingly prominent and unexplained motif of diapers. It creates a world that is both familiar in its fantasy elements and utterly unique in its specific details.
And for me, a truly memorable and surprising fact is the existence of the diaper defenders. These heroes, who actively chose to incorporate diapers into their very identity as champions, really forces you to reconsider your preconceived notions about heroism and strength. It's a powerful image, isn't it?
It really is. Exploring this detailed exercise in world building, as unconventional as it may seem on the surface, truly showcases the boundless creativity that can be found in collaborative storytelling. It highlights how even seemingly strange or mundane elements can be integrated into a narrative to create something compelling, intricate, and ultimately thought-provoking.
It really leaves you pondering, doesn't it? What could be the deeper societal or even magical significance behind the prevalence and importance of diapers in the Scolia diasporos?
Is it a literal requirement for some of its inhabitants? A bold cultural statement embraced by heroes, perhaps a conduit for some undiscovered form of magic.
Or something else entirely. This deep dive certainly invites us, and you, to question our assumptions and consider the wonderfully unexpected possibilities within fictional worlds.